Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Another video here today, and I want to share with you something that I learned recently, or at least hopefully I learned it. In my previous video where I made a silver birch wok spoon, I had shown this pretty large piece of birch bark, and I explained that I wanted to make some sheaths for some knives from birch bark, something I saw people make on Instagram and on YouTube, and I thought it was very interesting. So I finally was able to get a piece of bark big enough to make some things. So it was really perfect timing with the video from Zed Outdoors. And if you go over to his channel, his YouTube channel, he has a video that he posted where he shows how to make a sheath from birch bark. And without that video, I wouldn't have a more clear understanding on how to make this. And maybe to some of you guys, this might be pretty basic. Maybe you've made some of these before. I just want to show, I guess, my take on it. And we will all learn together. I'm certainly learning every time I make one of these and every day. So it's awesome. So here's some pieces that I made. This one was on Instagram. I made a sheath for this Jeff White Sloyd knife. Pretty basic. And that's all I need them for, is really to just cover the blades. I made one for my little Nick Westerman blade. Definitely have to oil this stuff for sure. Made one for one of my Mora 106 blades. It just needs to cover the blade. And this one was a failed attempt for a Mora, but I decided to make it for some chisel that I have. I have a bunch of chisels that were kind of like hand-me-down chisels. So that kind of works. It fits in there. This isn't a perfect one, but I wanted to show these pieces to you real quick. So now we'll get started on making the sheath for this Mora 106, which I don't really use. This is kind of my standby knife in case something happens to my other one. Probably should get a few more of these. And really, the reason why I really wanted to make one of these is actually when I got this knife, I cut my index finger really bad getting it out of the sheath. And if you're not familiar with the sheaths, this is the plastic sheath that these come in. It was really jammed in there, and I forced it out and sliced up my finger. This was a few months ago. Pretty bad. It's healed now. Everything's good. So we're going to get started with what I learned, or like I like to say is what I think I learned from the Zed Outdoors video. It was very informative. So the ones that I've been making, I just have basically two pieces of bark at different lengths or widths. So what they said is you take the length of the blade and you go over a little bit. So in this case, this blade, I think it's like 3.1 inches. So I just went up to 3.5 inches to say that was the length of the blade. And you multiply that by 4. And to make it simple, 3.5 times 4 is 14. And you cut a strip 14 inches long. And if you can see, this is the sheath, and you're going to weave the piece in and out. The blade is going to go inside, just like that. Okay, so tinker around with the width, and that's basically how the blade's going to go on the inside. That's how much wiggle room you'll have. Gotta oil this blade. All right. So you cut it out 14 inches, in this case 14 inches long. Find the middle part, which is 7 inches. Fold them together, and that gives you the body of the sheath. This strip is probably about, I don't know, 20 inches long. It's maybe 1/2 of an inch wide. Could you go thinner? I suppose. Just going to play around with this, see what we get. So I'm going to try not to embarrass myself too much on this video here. I don't know how much you'll be able to see, but hopefully you'll see a lot. That's the point of the video. You have the inside here and then the outside. So we're just going to start off from the inside. This is what more or less what I saw in the video. Kind of angle it, I guess. And he said, I think we go inside these little loops, you follow that on the opposite side. So inside to inside, you just kind of have to feed it through. I'm going to, try to do this right here. And I am by no means an expert at doing this. I really highly recommend that you go over to Zed Outdoors channel, please, and check out that video. Way, way, way more informative than anything I will probably be doing here. So I think starting it off is a little tricky, but I just want to get it in there nice and tight. Okay, cool. So now that we've gone on the inside, so if you could see there, inside, we're going to take the weave on the outside, because I think that kind of clamps, if you will, the piece together. So now we're going to go on the outside. So there's the inside piece, and then now this is going to go on the outside. Okay. Just going to try to keep doing this here. And that's really, you're just repeating that. Repeating that pattern all the way. So you have an outside piece and an outside piece here. So whatever you do on one side, you just do the other. So now that we were on the outside, we're going to feed it back through the inside again. Let me just get out of the camera here a little bit. All right. Really nothing to this too much. Just have to pay attention to what you're doing for sure. Okay. Get loose. What's going on here with this? Okay. Inside. It's inside. Inside. Now we're going to go to the outside. Just continuing to repeat this process. I think that makes sense there, right? See this here. I think. Yeah, that's it there. Cool. This piece is a little thick, but I think it'll work. Ah, cool. Yeah, we're good. Sorry. So I just kind of weaved it in and out. Hopefully you saw that. So when we get to the top here, you have this loop, and that's where we're going to tuck the last piece in. Now, obviously, this is very long. I was a little bit wasteful because I have a lot of bark, and I'm practicing. So anyway, to end it, we're going to fit this strand through here, but it's a little bit too thick, it's a little bit too wide here, so we're going to have to just kind of measure the length here. Let me get my scissors. We're going to snip it a little long. All right, so we have to get this in here, right, into this loop to tuck it in and tie the whole piece together. So we're going to kind of taper this so it can fit in there better. So we're just going to kind of angle it. Should work. So we've kind of tapered that ever so slightly, and that will allow this piece to hopefully fit in here a little bit better. This thing isn't super tight, but again, for my purposes and for what I need it for, sorry guys, it gets a little tight here. Try to squeeze that guy through. Come on. Of course, the other ones I made weren't this hard to get through. I don't know if I didn't taper it enough or what. You back this back out. Just taper it ever so slightly again. Cool. All right, let's try this now. Let's try this again. Should go, hopefully. Sorry. Just trying to... Of course, now it doesn't want to go through, right? Oh, there it is. Cool. So something like that is more or less... maybe could even put it through there again if I didn't cut it too short. I think that's pretty much it, guys. That's how I'm making them. And, you know, as usual, there's always probably, cool, a million or better ways to do it than me. Something I just learned. And there's the sheath. It takes about 15 minutes. It probably would take you less time if you weren't explaining it in a crappy video on YouTube. And let's see how this works. I don't cut myself, right? Don't know that it's perfect. Oh, man. Nice. And there we go. It should be able to pull it out. It works, and I think it'll loosen up and it's already loosening up now, which is great. Hopefully it doesn't loosen up too much. And that's how we do it. So I really appreciate you guys watching. I'm still learning. It's been, you know, so great to try to, you know, watch other YouTubers, other Instagrammers, and just try to learn some things as I go along here. And you know, I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you learned something. But like I said, I really highly recommend that you go over to Zed Outdoors YouTube channel, watch the video. You'll get a better understanding on how to make these things. And excuse me. And yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you for all the support. I really appreciate everything, guys. And we'll catch you on the next video. See you later.